The Walking Dead franchise has been around forever, but should the franchise still exist? It's been dragged through the mud, and you and I both just wanted it to end. With that said, here are some reasons it needs to end, such as the low ratings.
You want to tell me what happened with the warden?
Just put me on the train, dude.
Don't do that again. Go rogue. We needed that map.
I mean, it's not a surprise that the show has had some really bad ratings for a while now. I think it started in the 7th season and it hasn't recovered ever since then. While the main show has ended, it doesn't seem like they're quite getting the message and are stuck in their own delusional world that no one wants to see more of. Now, there are a bunch of spin-offs coming out that are probably going to dilute the entire story. Even though the whole spin-off route has never been successful for the franchise, they still seem hell-bent on making more money from it. That is, until absolutely no one wants to watch it anymore, and they finally put a nail in the coffin. Like, come on, man, just let it die with some good memories instead of whatever AMC is trying to do with it now. But that's far from the only reason that the franchise really needs to end. It isn't an ensemble anymore. The show simply gave up on the things that made viewers come back to it every season.
Sorry about earlier.
It's okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Despite it generally being the same story, why else would anyone tune into the show if not to watch Rick Grimes and his gang face the zombie apocalypse? The whole zombie shtick of the show itself was never what sold it in the first place. I loved getting to actually know the characters together. That's what made it such a great experience. But then things started to change around the 7th season when storylines started to diverge and you wouldn't get to see some of them for multiple episodes. That eventually made me lose any interest in the show, and I'm sure it must have been the same for a lot of you as well. Not just that, but it would place a heavy focus on characters that no one cared about just to force you to like them. There was absolutely no reason for them to do that, just like there never really was a reason for them to prolong storylines. Another huge issue that fans had with the franchise. It seems like the longer the show went on, the more the team behind it started losing sight of what they originally wanted out of it, to just tell a good story. And you can clearly see the points at which things are being done just to make it go on longer. At first, the franchise was about tackling the simple question of what would happen to humanity itself when faced with such a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, did I tell you I got married?
It was what led to such incredible storylines in the first few seasons and the comics. The earliest example I can think of this is probably when the Trash People were first brought on, a group of people that would just give one-word replies to everything. The one time they truly strayed from the comics. No one, and absolutely no one, actually liked that. They were uninteresting and brought a storyline that viewers couldn't give two craps about. Even though viewership would go down whenever they were on the screen, they still kept going with it and even doubled down with their stupid, boring storylines. Not just that, but as the show progressed, the characters kept making more stupid decisions. I mean, I get that they wanted to make the show more exciting and keep viewers on edge, but this just ended up being frustrating. What made it even worse is that characters would make such decisions in between the show's moments of highs. You'd think that after spending several years in a zombie apocalypse, they'd be indoctrinated with things not to do. But that's simply not the case. They're still being super loud and stuff and end up acting surprised when a horde of zombies attacks them. Ultimately, every single character just ended up looking super dumb. And if they didn't come off that way, the entire show's immersion would take a hit and everything would clearly be fake. It doesn't end at just the zombies either. The main characters keep on giving obviously suspicious ones more and more chances. Characters just walk away just when things are about to get intense, just to get killed by a walker. Like, seriously? Imagine you survive everything and then just get killed by a walker.
About to lose my wife. I was about to lose everything.
finally understood what you must have felt.
You'd think that they might have learned something over almost a dozen seasons, but nope. In fact, The Walking Dead is hell-bent on bringing the past back. They keep on trying to bring old characters back because they know that that's all they've left to offer to fans. For example, the new Daryl spin-off that's coming out purely focuses on a character that everyone loves. But the truth is that they've been trying the same thing for a while now, and it's clearly not working out. What they really need is a truly refreshing take on the same universe.
Wish we had more time to just remember them.
We will, Judith.
Back in the day, there weren't a lot of different ways to go about doing a zombie show, but The Walking Dead found a way. What it needs now more than anything is to let those characters rest and finally tell some new stories. Something that actually gets fans interested in the franchise again. It's basically been the same formula for everything. That really needs some innovation. People still want more zombie content. That's why The Last of Us has been such a huge hit. Not only that, but the entire formula needs to be updated. Even the spin-offs just continue on with the same old characters, stories, and keep on trying to further develop characters that have already reached the peak of that. To make matters worse, they just kept pandering to fans. You're never going to be able to keep all of your fans happy. The Walking Dead tried to make everyone happy, and it ended up ruining the show. That wasn't made better with the existence of forum-type platforms such as Reddit, where fans could voice what they wanted out of the show. It completely gave up on its brutality and everything that made it charming for the sake of the people. One of the biggest examples of that, at least that I can think of, is the premiere of the 7th season, where 2 characters were brutally beaten with a baseball bat. Fans rushed to social media and lashed out at the show for hurting some of their favorite characters, while others were happy that the show was finally going back to its roots. Considering the backlash they got, they couldn't risk it anymore. They had already trapped themselves in that cycle until the show turned into something completely different, and finally, the show just had too many survivor communities. The show's first few seasons didn't have a lot of them. Sure, some would pop up occasionally, and even fewer were actually kind and compassionate, but most of them just have some of the most complicated villains heading them, such as the governor. Now, there are just too many of them, and there isn't that threat going around anymore. The entire survival aspect of the show has taken a huge hit because of that. It's not like they're just living in a neighborhood that occasionally just has a walker problem, like they're insects instead of a full-on threat. I mean, video games and hot showers in the zombie apocalypse with no taxes sounds more like heaven. Those are all the reasons that the franchise needs to end. See you in the next video.